today is Dyno Day. Well, so as you guys know, if you've been following along with the channel for a while, you know I've been fighting a little bit of tuning issues and just working out all the final bugs and everything on the old hookers and blow truck here. So I'm excited for tomorrow morning because we're going to have this thing on the dyno and we're going to actually hopefully get to resolve a lot of the issues that I'm having with this thing. So if you guys watched the last video that I did on it where we finally got the damn thing figured out and now we know the training wasn't messed up, went for a little bit of a drive and this thing was cutting out a little bit on that right there towards the end when I started to give it a little bit of throttle. And before that, I just didn't have much throttle response or anything like that either. We were able to, once it was, just only the one side of the tire spinning, we was able to do a little bit of a burnout with it. But even that, in my opinion, here in the shop, wasn't that impressive. It kind of looked okay on the video because we got the side that was actually spinning and all of that. But reality is the other side wasn't doing anything. And now that I've got it all locked up to where it's locked all the way across, it won't spin the tires. So it just kind of pushes across a little bit of the floor and it don't have enough horsepower or whatever to be able to blow them off. So hopefully, that's my ultimate goal here. Hopefully we'll be able to get it to that point where it will and maybe do some donuts or have some fun with this thing. It's obviously not a drag truck, so I don't care what the big numbers are at the end because once I got enough to blow the tires off, that's all the horsepower I need. And I'm not tracking it or anything because it don't have suspension to do autocross or something like that. So it's really just a fun toy to cruise around in and blow the tires off. So that's my ultimate goal here, and hopefully we'll get to the dyno tomorrow and we'll get this thing all tuned out and get it to where it will be running a lot better and be able to do that. Now I do have some problems coming up here though with getting it on the dyno, and that's those big giant tires back there in the back, and I think it's measuring a little right at about 8 foot wide now. So I'm going to end up having to take the outside duals off here so that we can get it on the dyno and be able to have it actually on the roller. And we've got another problem there with those back tires as well. They're actually only rated for 80 miles an hour. Now, I know that's probably, considering that's going to be in a semi, could have a load on the semi and all of that. So, and they underrate stuff so that they don't have to worry about getting sued or whatever. So I think we're going to be fine. We can probably spin them, well over 100 or at least 100, 110 or something like that probably. But I don't know if we're actually going to be able to get this thing to go into third gear and get a true one-to-one reading through the transmission and everything and actually get a true dyno number as far as horsepower and torque and everything out of it when we go tomorrow. So we'll just have to see how that turns out. And that's going to be up to the guy that's doing the tuning. And I don't know. We'll see how that all plays out tomorrow. So we'll go from there. But like I said, I do know that I need to pull off the outside duals. So I'm going to go ahead and knock that out and get this thing ready to go on the trailer and head out in the morning. Alright, so it's 7 a.m. I've got about an hour before I have to be on the road and be heading over towards the dyno, so should have plenty of time to get this thing loaded and strapped down, and then hopefully be able to go get some breakfast before I head over there. But I don't know, we'll see how it goes, because this thing is kind of a pain in the rear to get on the trailer, because I've got a trailer that's not really a car trailer, it's more of an equipment trailer. It's got two 7,000-pound axles underneath it, and it makes it a bitch to get any kind of car or anything on there other than a pickup. I think I'm going to figure out a way here to cheat the system a little bit and maybe use the curb or something, I'm hoping, and just block the road for a little bit. I don't think there's too much going on at 7 o'clock in the morning on Sunday, so hopefully I can get away with that, and we'll get this thing loaded up really quick. Well, I got her loaded up. I'm not gonna say that was flawless by any way, shape, or form, but I got her on there and we haven't tore up anything, so I guess that's a win. Had the mess of finding my chains, and battery's dead, of course, on the winch, and cables knotted up, and yada yada yada. So I kind of chewed up some of my time, and I was out of fuel in the truck, so had to go next door and get some fuel. And I probably should have done that before I had this on the trailer, because, you know, that's creates tension anywhere it goes, of course. That's the reason why I built it. And that chewed up the rest of my time talking to everybody about it, and no breakfast for me this morning. That's all right. I probably don't need it anyways. I probably could skip a few anyhow. So anyways, yeah, I'll pop you guys back on here in a few when we get over to Polk Performance over in Park City, and we'll get this thing on the dyno. So he's already made some initial tuning adjustments on it. The timing was way off to begin with, and we assumed that was going to be the case. And now he's trying to get the tables kind of set up a little bit better here on the sniper setup. So I'm going to do a couple pulls here and try to get that all learned in and doing better, and then we'll be able to actually try to go from there.
Pretty good over here. I think we got her dialed in.
Driving nice.
Yep, drives nice. Nice power, man. Lots of torque.
Yep.
Can't believe how fast first gear is like third gear in a normal vehicle.
That big giant tire back there changing the gear ratio quite a bit.
Absolutely.
Yep.
Got the left here.
Okay.
Got pretty happy with it.
Yeah.
It behaves really well. Drives actually really well. I can't believe it.
it should. So I'm very happy with that. So I owe a big shout out to the guys over at Polk Performance. They did an awesome job with tuning it. So if you guys need anything done for tuning or want some dyno time, they are definitely the go-to guys that I would suggest. So keep that in mind. Now, I know the question that everybody's got on their mind, how much horsepower did it make, right? That's the question everybody wants to know. So I don't actually have a good number for you as far as what it's going to be making at the motor, but what we come up with at the rear end, at the tires, at the bottom of those big giant tires was 340 horsepower-ish. So I know a lot of you are going to be going, what? That's it? You know, in today's world where everything's 1,000 horsepower, right? You know, it's that doesn't sound like anything. Well, the few things that you got to keep in mind here is that, first of all, that's at the tire, not at the crank. And we are going through a lot of stuff between the crank and the bottom of those tires. So we've got a 4L80 in here. This thing is a beast as far as, you know, holding together. I mean, they're awesome transmissions, but they take a lot of power to turn those. We've got a 14 bolt in the back, so they're again another big giant beast of a rear end, so it'll hold together, but it takes out a lot of power when you're going through all those big giant gears. And then we've got the massive big semi tires here on the back, which are killing our gear ratio. I mean, the gear ratio is crazy stupid at this point because of the size of that tire back there. We've got a 14 gear in the rear end, but we were only actually able to go in first gear on the dyno when we were trying to get some numbers out of this and tune it and everything, because the tires, like I said, are rated for like 80 miles an hour, and we were doing 70 miles an hour in first gear. So with that tall of a tire on there, that gear ratio, like I said, is pretty well screwed at that point. And if we would have tried to throw it into even second gear, which I thought maybe we might be able to, but nah. Getting into second gear, we're going to be way past the speed limit of those tires, which maybe we could have done if they were virgin rubber, but those are recaps, and I can't even imagine how much damage one of those recaps would do to the back of my cab, and of course the mirror's gone, and who knows what else would be gone at that point if one of those recaps came apart. So I don't want to do that. So we don't have anywhere close to a one-to-one pull, and we're going through all of that stuff in there. So that's our number, 340 at the tire. That's the best I can tell you right now. So it would be nice to go ahead and get the a different tranny back in here again instead of the one that I put in here. I think I'm going to go ahead and put the one that I had in here originally back in it, because apparently it's fine. And that will give us a stall converter, which is going to help out a little bit on some of this stuff. And I'm going to probably end up at some point putting a different gear in the rear end, and I'll see how low of a gear I can find to be able to get as much as we can out of it for, you know, a gear in the back, because 410 is obviously nowhere near low enough. So we need to probably be at like 529s or something like that. I can't remember what the biggest gear ratio is for 14 bolt, but I'll have to look it up and see. So anyways, that's some stuff that we're going to be doing in the future, and I guess that's about all I got for you guys on today's video. Oh wait, before you go, these things showed up, so we're going to mess with some of these in the near future as well. So just thought I'd show that to you, because that should be fun. Now, I guess that's about all I got for you guys on today's video. We'll see you next time.